I got that set there and a set hanging there. I've got the towels hanging off that set. And I have another set right there, made out of ice prawns. Just something to do, okay? I have all my extension cords stored under here. Extra buckets and paper for my worm bin. Feed through worm bin. But as I started kind of slowing down and with age and other hobbies, I kind of backed off of it. More ice prawns. Okay, before I left for Disney, I took down the original old flow-through worm bin. I wasn't satisfied with it. I still am not. So what I'm gonna do, my goal now is, I wanna take and use the lower part right here as the worm bin, raise my sides up here, and put these my bins. I'll put these bins on top.
What's in here?
Yeah, that's my worms.
Oh, okay.
I'll take my worms and I'll put them in here, and up here I'll put the bins, and I'll use these bins as breeding boxes. In other words, I'll put maybe 200 or 300 worms in each bin and feed the devil out of them, and they'll start laying eggs like crazy. And then I can just drop the worms into here as we go to keep this thing coming.
Okay.
So that's my major goal. Now the trick is, as I go along, I'll add to it and show you how I'm doing it.
Okay.
Okay, what I've done is I've taken the sides off, if you'll see across here, all the way around. And I opened the bed back down. This is as I said before, this was my flow-through worm bed. I did not like it. To me, it was a lot of work cleaning off the floor, but I had the copper wire, and I could take my rake and let the poop drop. Then I come back and put this solid bottom in it. Still wasn't satisfied. So now I'm gonna tear it down, remove the copper wire, put a firm bottom in it, a solid bottom. And then I'm gonna cover it back with the plastic where the worms is comfortable and contained. And I'm gonna go ahead and work on that and get that ready. Then what I plan on doing is coming on up with these sides, about 30 inches. Now, what I used to do was take this sifter that I made right here, if you'll notice, and I set it down on top of my wheelbar over there. And that's how I did it. It was messy and it wasn't really good. So now the sifter is just about exactly 12 inches shorter than this whole bend is, from there to here. So that means when I get these 30-inch sides raised up, these 30-inch sides coming up, I'll customize this, hook it to this across here, and it'll be permanent right here. It'll be permanent. It'll be high enough, I can reach under it, scoop up the scoopings, pour them in my sifter and turn it. I can put, I have somewhere in this here, I have cut containers that'll fit underneath the sifter here, separator. And when I scoop up and turn it, the worms and the eggs will fall back in here with the good stuff, and the stuff I don't want will fall, it hadn't been digested or finished, will fall right back in the bin. I don't have to get on the floor and vacuum and clean and all that stuff. It'll all be contained right here. That's my hope. I'll let you know in a couple of 3 or 4 weeks. Pawpaw Sammy here. I'm in the process right now of removing the rest of the copper. It was my original flow through. Basically, what I'm doing now is just getting it out of here. Kind of hard to cut this stuff. Get all the copper wire out, and when I get this copper wire out, I'm gonna put a hard bottom in this thing. And when I do that, I should be able to transport my worms over here and put them in it. All right. Okay, let's see what I got. This is going to be a rather long, drawn-out process. And I don't want to bore people with it, but I really would like for you to see this piece here in the middle. But originally, the sides were up here, okay, about this high. Worm poop is tremendously heavy. So what I did was I put a brace in the middle, plus I put a spreader bar to keep these sides from caving in and going down with the weight. And it worked pretty good. Except I did not like the mess when I was trying to clean and run worm poop. I just didn't like the mess. It was messy and it just wasn't worth the effort. So I'm fixing to correct that, I hope. Okay, I've got the wire out at the center. I'm gonna leave that spacer bar. Now here's the thing. On the sides, around the ends and the sides, I have a 2x2, which makes this centerpiece 2 inches lower than the side, 1.5 inches really. So I'm gonna cut a 2x and plate this to bring my sides and my middle up level and leave this bar. Now when I do that, I'm gonna take all the scrap lumber that I got off the sides when I cut the sides off and cut it to fit. I'm gonna put a solid body in this thing, a solid bottom. And then I'm gonna take my black felt and recoat it to make sure the worms are comfortable and there's no escape out the bottom. They won't come out the top, but they will go out that bottom. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and make my measurements and get my cuts, because that saw was just absolutely too loud to try to do anything in Pemmon. So that's where we at as of right now. Now, I've got my bottoms leveled out. But when I put my 1x's in there, when I get them cut, that fit perfect. I'll lay them in a solid bottom and I got a good solid foundation. Now, this, oh, that's working perfect. A lot better than I thought. Some of them are a little shaky. Let's see what I can do with it. The thing is, I've always said you can't work harder, work smarter. Take your time, figure out a way to do it fast, and do it. And that way, you're not killing yourself trying to get something done that shouldn't take you about that long. Now, that's halfway finished. I'm ahead of myself here. The bottom's in. I made it out of old scrap lumber. It's good and solid. I mean, it's good and solid. So the next thing now is to take my black felt, get my guns and all out of the way here. By the way, these little Joes from Harbor Freight, I love them. Time consuming, saving. Now, what I got here goes on the siding of the house. Whenever you have your house built, they take this and put it on the outside siding. It's a sheathing. What I'm going to do is, it won't quite reach it, so I'm going to take it all the way across, lap it across again, and turn it this way and run it long ways. Because long ways, it'll come real close to doing what I want it to do right there. So that's the next step. So I'm going to try to get that taken care of, and then we'll take it from there. What I've done, I took this siding cover, I put it in the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see. I wasn't quite, it's not quite wide enough to cover the whole thing. Okay? So I got the bottom piece in, nailed it all down with staples. My old trusty staple gun, my Bostrick. Okay, now, I'm going to take this piece, lay it in, get it full to the right dimensions, and I'm going to nail it down. Now here's the thing, people. Once I get it double layered, I'm going to go make sure it's good and flat and staple good right along that seam that don't quite cover. I'm trying to keep the worms contained from the bottom. They won't come out the top because I'll have a piece of cardboard laying loosely, but they will come out that bottom and fall. I know that for a fact. Now, what I'm going to do now is cut this piece, and I'll go ahead and try to get it in place. And when I do, then we'll come back and we'll continue on with our rat killing. Very easy to cut with a good pair of scissors. Very easy to cut. Okay. Get this out the way. Get that out of my way. Well, I can do what I gotta do. Whew. Okay. It'll take me about 10 or 15 minutes, and I will be. Actually, laying this stuff out is not really a big problem. What you do is you make sure you've got enough to cover your edge, because you can trim the excess. And you make sure it's on both ends, that you have enough. You come to the middle, and you use your side for a straight edge. And then you pull, you take and pull your covering flush with the edge. All right, and you come in here with your little nail gun. All right, and just walk right down the sides. Now what I'm trying to do right now is just hurry up and give it, because it takes too long. I can make a two-day video doing this, but I want to get through and let you have the information you need as fast as possible. Now, of course, I'll go on each end, and now what I'll do is I'll pull it flush. And I have a piece that's exact length for the inside. Okay? Now, since I've got it pretty well, straight. Once I get it in there, I'll take this piece and put it in and pull it tight against the sides to give me that straight edge down the side. It's good and solid, see? It's not loose. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm gonna turn you off for a minute. Now, in all reality, the bed's finished. I mean, I have tacked every seam good and tight. I'm not saying the worms can't escape, a few of them, but if it does, it's gonna be minimal. I'm not worried about that. Now, my dilemma now is, I could actually put the worms in here right now. But in my mind, I hadn't got what I want. So, I don't like to beat and bang and pop them air guns on my worm beds, because it disturbs your worms and they get all flustered and start running, trying to escape. They think they're fixing to have dinner. Somebody's fixing to make them dinner. Now, what I'd like to do next, and this is where the fun starts, because I've got no dimensions, nothing but a brain freeze here. Just right here. Okay. Let me see something here. Okay. I would like, and just a rough idea of what I'm talking about. Now, see, I would like to take this, my tumbler, my sifter. Okay? I'm going to extend these sides. I'm going to extend it up 30 inches. Okay? Just 30 inches. Now up here, put 4 of these on, one on each corner. And up here, I'll turn the side down. Up here this high in the air, I can take my 4 worm bins I have now and set them up here. I can use this bed to do my compost, my boxes to breed my worms. As they breed and multiply, they go in here. And this, I'm continuously making what I need. Now, I need this to do. What I want to do, and I'm sure I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm not sure how to do it. I want to mount this permanent right here. Used to, I'd set it on sawhorses, or if you notice the frame it's on, I would set it on my wheel bar. But when you start doing this, stuff would fly all over the floor. So I had to lay bisqueen out and gather it up and all this, etc. But now, set up like this, I can take. Let me try to get it in position a little better than that. Okay, now, basically, what I want is this. All right, now, naturally, I'll have it tilted a little bit like so. I can pour my compost in here and start turning. The compost will fall out like regular right here. But the stuff is not, it hadn't been used up or eaten, I'll fall right back in the bin. Clean up, no more. Now, the next dilemma, do I put something underneath? Well, let me try to start over. I could cut my bucket, my things in half and fit them under here to catch it. It's what I might do. That would be the quickest, simple, most efficient way. And in that way, my worms is breeding, making compost here. They're breeding up here, and this is how I sift it. Now that's for 2 reasons, people. I'm extremely short on space. Lord, you can tell. And I've always said, don't work harder, work smarter. It's kind of an awkward position from where I'm working in the camera. But I cut my piece to go from the outside to the outside of the 4x. All right, then I set it up just like you see it, and I made a mark on both ends on the outside. That way, when I come up like this, I set it down on top of this, I got a mark. Uh-oh, I didn't get that tight enough. But anyway, I bet she'll be tight enough now. Okay, now, find my mark. There it is. Set it up. First thing I got to do is get that mark where I can see it. But doing it like this, working by yourself, you got to figure out a way to do it. And this is the easiest way in the world to do it for me. Now, when I take that big air hammer and pull that trigger, it makes a tremendous noise. So I'm going to go ahead now, turn the camera off, and make these shots. Be back directly. I pretty well got it framed up now. But if I put my boards across the top to set my totes on, you won't be able to see what I'm doing down in here. So this will come later. I will add one more piece in the center. And I will take some more of these boards, like so, and go across there to make a floor for my totes. Now the totes on top, as I said before, they're going to be for breeding my brood boxes. Down here at the bottom, that's going to definitely be for the compost. And the reason I'm doing that, I can put them little eggs and stuff on top in my brood boxes. And as the worms mature, just keep dropping them in here and pour the feed to them. And he'll go from there. Now, my next thing is I need to get it up high enough that I can work under it. All right, if I can work under it, then, but this end needs to be pointed down a little bit, whereas the stuff comes through, it'll drop into the bin right here. So that's going to take a little bit of guesswork and a little bit of aggravation, more than likely. But basically, hang that, put the floor, which won't take long, and my worm bin's ready to go. Then tomorrow or the next day, I'll show you how to set a bin up, how to set it up correctly. That'll work.